Jones when he rattled his bones. Old Parson Brown running round like a clown. Old Aunt Jemima, she's past 83. She's a hollering like full of pep. Watch your step.
Okay, now the next thing I'm going to do is figure out my order of my pennants for my little banner here. And then I'm going to put my ruffles on. So I'm going to just kind of get some contrasting fabric for my ruffles. So I'll do pink on those, and pink on this, and yellow on this guy. Alright, so now what I'm going to do is put adhesive along the back. And this time I'm going to use the Mono multi-liquid glue, because it's got a very strong bond. And I'm going to use the wide end to put some glue on one side of my banner. I'm going to kind of flatten out my little ruffle a bit. And I'm going to take this and I'm just going to kind of make a ruffle. So I'm going to take it and fold it back and forth on itself. To make a little ruffled edge here. And it doesn't have to be like super perfect, but when you turn it over you have that cute ruffle on the other side. So we're going to do this to each side of each pennant. Okay, so here's all of my pennants that all have their little fabric ruffle on them. And the next thing I'm going to do is string them together. I'm going to use my crocodile to punch a hole in the corner of each pennant.
You ought to see Deacon Jones when he...
And what I'm going to do is go in through the front and across the back and then out through the front. And what this does is it keeps the top of the banner cute, and then in between each pennant I can tie strips of fabric.
You ought to see Deacon Jones when he rattled his bones. Old Parson Brown running around like a clown. Old Aunt Jemima, she's past 83.
And now to hold everything in place, what we're going to do is take our fabric, the strips that we have left over, and we're going to cut them into about 4-inch long pieces. Now you don't need to measure this, you're just going to kind of guesstimate. 4 inches is the same length as the top of one pennant, so that's about how long you'll make it. And then you're just going to take your strips and tie them to the twine in a knot. And it doesn't have to be a double knot, it can just be a single, like over under, like when you're starting to tie your shoes. And what this will do is it gives it a little bit more added interest, but it also helps to hold the pennants on. You want to do 2 or 3 strips between each.
Hollering like full of pep. Watch your step, watch your step. One-legged Joe spinning around on his toe. He throws away his crutches, hollered, hey, let her go. He hollered, hail, hail, the gang's all here for the Alabama Jubilee.
Okay, so now it's very fun and festive, and we're ready to add our letters. So what I'm going to use is this Tombow Power Adhesive tabs. They're clear and they stick to pretty much everything. And what's nice is because it can hold a lot of weight, it'll hold 6.5 ounces per tab, you don't have to worry about these little letters that definitely don't even weigh an ounce. You don't have to worry about them falling off of your banner, because that would be the worst. So you just stick your little tabs on, and say there's a small spot like this, you can definitely cut these guys in half. So just leaving the backing on, just cut it in half, and now you have a small piece that you could use up there. Then you peel the backs off. And the adhesive is totally clear, which I love, because I hate seeing like white little foam things behind home decor projects. You know, in your scrapbook it's okay because people aren't going to see like kind of underneath things, but on stuff like this, people can kind of see underneath, and you don't want that showing. So here I'll use 2 full-size tabs, and then I can use my other little half piece here on that end of the D. Again, I will cut one so I can do this other top of my W. And you can use, if you're worried about adhesive on your scissors, I haven't actually had that problem with these tabs, but if you are worried, use a non-stick scissor like a Westcott titanium scissor, or like Tonic has the non-stick scissors. I prefer the Westcott ones because they're extremely sharp, but any non-stick scissor would work. And see, cute, I could see my little boot. And again, I can cut more pieces to use for my O. And again, you want to cut them before you take them off of the backing sheet. If you try to cut it after you peel it, it's going to stick to your scissors. And if you're not ready to use that other half of the tab yet, then you're kind of going to waste it. So this way you have those other halves to use when you need them. Oops, got him too close to the edge. So I use my other little half there in the middle of my H. And now we can do a little bit more decorating, put some buttons and things like that on.
You ought to see Deacon Jones when he rattled his bones. Old Parson Brown running round like